progressed since you got here?
It's been great, honestly. I mean, he's a guy that when I first got here, I guess along with Hayden, he was a walk-on kid that was fighting for a chance to play. He played some the year before. I think at the very end, they started playing, I think, Kyle Markway a little bit more than him. So he got a little frustrated, but he continued to work hard, continued to battle. The biggest thing with him is strength level. Wasn't sure exactly how strong he would be, if he can handle the C-gap blocking, things that we need to get done right there. And he actually proved to do a really good job. He got better, he got stronger, and more importantly, he got better with his technique. If you lack something, technique is the thing that can help you actually be better at it. So he did that. He got better, and right now I think he's probably one of our better blockers at this point.
Is he sort of working with your first team, or is it too early to start?
It's kind of early. With Hayden leaving, he's the first guy up, but he's going to have to work his butt off to keep it, because I think some of the other guys are battling pretty well right here in spring practice, and they're going to give him a run for his money. So it's very competitive, and I like it that way. The guys are working really hard, and but he's one of them that's going to have a chance to replace Hayden and do a great job for us.
Is it tough not to have Evan Hinton kind of in that mix?
Yeah, it is. It is, but we knew going into it, we made a decision when we recruited him to give him an opportunity to play basketball, and Coach Muschamp is a man of his word, and so he decided he wanted to play, and that's what he's doing right now. But, maybe he'll have a chance to come and practice some this spring, and I hope the basketball team continue, to, actually win in the SEC championship maybe and have a chance to go on to the NC2A or NITs, one of the two. But if not, then hopefully we can get Evan back playing football for us this spring, and it'd be great to have him back.
How does KC look coming off that injury?
KC came back for the bowl game, and when he came back for the bowl game, he wasn't 100%, but right now I think he's probably at least 90 to 95%, if not 100. He's pretty close to being full speed. It seemed like he didn't miss a beat, to be honest with you. He came out, kept doing the stuff that he did, the season before, and so I'm pleased with him. KC is one of those guys. He's not a really big guy, but he's a powerful guy. And he actually can block. He can be attached and do things attached. And so I'm really excited about him. I think he's having a really good spring, and the injury has not bothered him at all.
With Hayden, you guys kind of had the luxury of a guy who could both be attached and split out and be really effective kind of at both of those. Do you feel like you have guys that can do both of those pretty effectively, or is it more sets of guys that are specialized this year?
Well, that's what the spring is all about. We want to make sure that we can find out what they can and can't do. So we're going to spread them out some. Even to Jacob, we're going to spread him out some. We're going to attach him some. I just mentioned, KC can do it. He's proven he can do it. I think Kiel Pollard is similar to KC, not a very big guy, but he's strong enough to handle being attached. So he's a guy that can do it as well. Markway, I'm not sure with him, so we're going to move him out a little bit and attach him some. Will Register is a guy that mostly played scout team last year. So this spring is huge for him. And he has the ability to do both. It's a learning curve right now. He's learning and he's figuring stuff out, but he has the ability to do it.
How big of a jump was that from Will's high school offense and what he was asked to do there to what you guys have asked him to do, and how much progress has he made since getting on campus?
I think he's made a lot. The biggest thing with Will was initially gaining strength in his upper body. He has a really good lower body, so I felt pretty good about that, but upper body wasn't very strong. Right now he's probably about 245 pounds now. And you can see his upper body has gained a lot of strength and size, and so that was the biggest thing with him. But for most high school guys, it's particularly tight ends. It's the point of attack when you're blocking some of these defensive ends. We have to block in the SEC. I mean, you're blocking some real dudes, So that's really tough. But I think he's progressing. He's learning right now. It's good to go through spring because he's probably going to get his butt whipped a couple of times, which is good. As long as he come back and fight the next day, I think he'll be fine. I think he has that attitude, and so I got to just make sure I keep him going.
The last time we talked to you, you had said Kiel was still young in that transition from wide receiver over to tight end. And last season, he was strictly at tight end. How do you feel like he progressed in that position?
Well, I think he's doing a really good job. I think he's totally all in. He understands that's what he is. H-back, tight end type of guy, a guy that's going to be in my room, And so I think he's adjusted well. I think he understands it better. And right now, I think he's competing at a very high level. I really do.
When you guys evaluate tight ends, will you just look for strictly like inline types of guys, or we look at the H-back kind of guys, or does we're
looking for athletes, to be honest with you. I although I like to see him block, just to make sure he'll stick his face in there, that he will be aggressive. But the most important thing, I want to see him run around. I like to see him catch balls. I like to, if he plays basketball, I like to go watch him play basketball, things like that. I mean, we're looking for guys who we think could be big enough physically. You know, the body could be big enough to be a 240-plus guy. But at the same time, I mean, we want a guy that can run around and be an athlete, not necessarily just a blocking, tight end. I mean, those guys are useful. I'm not saying they're not, but for our scheme, it's not the most important thing. The most important thing is that he needs to be an athlete.
With Coach McClendon coming in, kind of putting his hands on the offense, are you going to ask the tight ends to do much different from what they did last year, or do their lives not change all that much?
I think we're still in the growing process of that right now with Coach McClendon. I think there's some stuff we're going to do that we did last year that we did well, but I also think that he's going to put his stamp on it and do some things a little bit different. It will include the tight ends. I think we have athletic enough tight ends that they can do a lot of stuff for us. They can be in a lot of places for us. But will it be similar to last year? Right now, I really can't tell you that. I think in a lot of ways it will be, but in a lot of ways it won't be.
How much will you pay attention to the combine today with Hayden working out, or are you too busy with stuff around here? Too.
Yeah, we got no, I'm just kidding. I got my TV recording it. So later on tonight, I'll probably sit down and have a Diet Coke and watch it, see how he does. I hope he does well, but I think the young man, somebody give him an opportunity, he'll do well. And the NFL is so funny. I mean, I've had guys I thought were high pick drafts that were not. I had guys I thought won't get drafted, and they did. So it's unpredictable. Hopefully he does a really good job at the combine. But if they're judging his talent only by what he does at the combine, then they're mistaken. I mean, you need to watch his film. I mean, that tells you what he can and can't do.
How has Kyle kind of come back from?
Say it again?
How has Kyle Markway kind of come back from that injury that sort of limited him so much last year?
Shoot, man, he's had 2 years of it. He's the injury bug hit. Golly, I'm not on some wood. The injury bug hit him, but right now, honestly, he's probably the best shape he's been in, and he's, I hope continue doing what he's doing. He's getting better every day, and he's moving around well. He's stronger. He's more fit. So, sometimes, bad things happen to you, but it happens for reasons, and maybe for him it was to get stronger and get more fit and get mentally set to compete like he's going to compete this fall. I think so.
What would you tell a team about Hayden that was asking you about him? Should we draft him? What stands out about him?
I just tell them to watch him. Watch him as a football player, and then once you get him as a football player, you're going to get a great individual. You're going to get a very hard worker. You're going to get a guy that's going to be not a vocal leader, but he'll be a leader in this room. A guy you don't have to worry about. He's not going to do anything, crazy. I think he's pretty mature. And I've coached. He's the second guy I've coached that was a baseball player. I coached a kid. It's so ironic. I coached a kid by the name of Kelly Washington when I was at Tennessee that played baseball, and they're both the same. Once you go through about 4 years of riding on that bus in baseball, and all of a sudden you make a decision to play football, all the little silly things that a lot of these young 17, 18, 19-year-old kids are doing, they don't do. They've done it. They don't waste their time with it. They're focused. They know exactly what they want, and they're going to grind and try to get to the level they want to be at. So he's like that, and Kelly was like that. And it's so ironic that when Hayden went to Miami, the group he worked out with, he said the guy that's teaching him the route parts of the workout is a guy named Kelly Washington. I was like, how's that for a coincidence? Both guys are baseball players. Anyway, I thought it was a coincidence. It was kind of weird, but anyway, he's a humble kid. He's going to work extremely hard, and he has a little ability to go with that. So I think he'll do well. I really do.
Does Jacob take over as that vocal guy in the room just because he's the most senior? Or
He's trying to. He's trying to. No, it depends. What's going to happen in that room is once we sort everything out and realize who's going to be the starters and who's going to be playing, and hopefully Jacob is one of those guys, then that person needs to take over that room. Right now, Jacob's trying to do it because he's kind of next in line. Yeah. So, but he's got to fight for his life too, though, right now. He's got to fight to be on the field and get a starting job.
Is there kind of a nice pitch you can give to the rest of the guys? Be like, there's a lot of snaps that Hayden is leaving open, and now y'all have to fight for that.
There's no question. There's no question. I mean, he was one of the few guys I ever coached that actually can play a whole game. I mean, I've never really been around a guy that just can play a whole game without asking to be out, not tapping out. And they played punt team as well, so he was a well-conditioned guy, and he worked himself like that to do the things he did. But, yes, that's a lot of reps that those guys can either divide or somebody can take it over and be that same kind of guy. I'm looking forward to see who's going to take it over. I think right now the room is really competitive. I think everybody in that room wants to be that guy or the next guy. And somewhere down the line, I'm going to have to make a decision, and we're going to go with it. But I'm not going to make it based on what I think. I'm going to make it based on what I see and what they do. And I think they know I'm a fair guy. I think they know I'm a fair guy, and I treat everybody the same from a walk-on to a scholarship guy. It really doesn't bother me who it is. The guy that's going to be the starter is going to be the best player.
What was your relationship like with Dan Werner before he got here, and what's it been like to have him on?
I have I've known him, but we never had a relationship. It's so ironic since about 1989, 1990, I've coached against him. I was at Louisiana Lafayette, which was USL in the old days, and he was at Louisiana Tech. And so we have crossed paths. He was at Miami when I was at Tennessee, and there's some other places here, and I was talking that we had no idea we were at the different schools, So, but I didn't have like a relationship where we talked, but I knew who he was, and I knew his story and his history and his success and things he's done, and so he's been great. I mean, the biggest thing when you add new staff members, you want people that can fit in. And he's fitting in well, and he has great ideas. Very good coach and a very good person. And so the room is good. It's a pretty positive room, and I can say that now. We hadn't played a game. Maybe after the first game, he asked me, I might tell you something different. So, but no, it's a positive room, and we got really good people, really good coaches, and he's really a perfect fit.